was a place where there's no trouble, no more pain, no more struggle.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Grounded in Maine today. My name is Amy. I'm actually reversing things a little bit today, just to change it up a little bit on my, third episode. I've got Karin Sorensen with me again, and Karin is going to be interviewing me to change it up. So Karin's interview just aired recently, and because we sort of brainstormed this together, I thought it would be kind of a little bit fitting to have her on, and it's easier to talk to a person than it is to talk to a microphone.
Hi, how you doing? Thank you for the opportunity to be the person to ask you some questions, because I really love your work and it must be hard to come up with all those questions for other people. So now it's your turn to sit back and relax and answer the following questions. Question number 1. So how did it all begin?
So, okay, I'll start with when we moved into our house 15 years ago next month. I am not the breadwinner. Shocking. My husband has his own business. My pay goes to take care of the animals. So I always figured, I had been doing some canning, a little bit of canning, and I lived on a farm for a year when I was in my 20s, and so I learned to pickle beets and can those beets and do some freezing and stuff. I didn't really do a lot of that on my own, but when we moved into this house, I felt like I needed to contribute something, and so since it wasn't really money, I would grow some food and preserve that food, and that would be my contribution. It just, every year we do a little bit more. There's a fair in Maine called the Common Ground Fair it takes place near my husband's mom, and so we would always go visit them and go to the fair, and we'd learn about, cool stuff. They're herbal classes, and I took a couple years in a row, I think, worm composting, and I thought that was really cool. So I kind of had that in my head. I was like, okay, that's an easy thing, and one day I'll get a setup, blah blah blah, and and then there was a class, there was a worm composting class at our local library, and I thought that would be cool. I'll get a little bit braver this time, and when I went to the class, they gave me a worm bin and worms, and I was so overwhelmed, but I'm glad that I did, so now we have a worm bin. Worm compost, it's right under my kitchen sink. It's been there for 4 years. But just, little things. And I have a high school friend who introduced me to, like making your own cleaners and products and stuff like that. And that just totally jazzed me. I was so impressed with that. I was so impressed by that I really was on a mission to learn to make more things, make my own cleaners and do stuff like that, because the thought of the chemicals that are in products now is just a lot. It's a lot. And I forget what the questions were now.
No, you're doing great. No, so you're definitely enthusiastic about being ecologically, beneficial to the earth. So there's definitely a Mother Nature is our friend philosophy I detect in your story, and that's awesome. I mean, who isn't on board with that, right?
Yeah. And then and then just to get to how we met. So I live about 1.5 miles away from this farm that Karin and I volunteer at, called Scattergood Farm. The group is called Growing to Give, and we grow organic produce solely to donate it to the local food pantries and soup kitchens. And I didn't even know about this place, and a friend of mine said, I saw an ad on Facebook that there's an open house, and I was not really feeling it, but I was like, it's a mile and a half away. I really can't say no, and I don't have anything better going on. So I went to the thing, and the farm manager is actually an old friend of mine from work, and it just was so welcoming, and it was so exciting, and it's an easy way. It was an easy way for me to give back, and be part of something that was really big and exciting. And I wanted to learn how to garden better because my gardening is not ideal. It's not great. But so I'm now in my 5th year. This is the 5th summer, and Karin came on a few years ago, and we became fast friends and loved working together. And we started we call ourselves the Saturday Morning Gang, or Saturday Morning Crew, I should say.
Right.
And so we just, we, of course, there's a lot of chatting and fun, but we do get a lot done.
Oh, for sure, yeah. And I don't know what motivates us more, the work itself or the chatting in between, I
Right.
think we will do both with equal vigor.
Right. Well, of course,
Definitely.
there are so many other people. There are up to 20, 25 people on
Oh,
Saturday
goodness.
mornings. The one morning
Yes.
I'm there.
Yeah.
But there's just we have our core group that we are not really cliquey, but we
No,
we
we just,
love
we
to get
always
to
show
see
up,
each other.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Awesome, wonderful. Let's move on to the next question then. I heard a few things mentioned, the bin and the canning and whatnot. So what is your favorite or one of your favorite homesteading practices and why?
I'm gonna say it's chickens. My husband built a chicken coop, and we only have, I mean, now we only have 7 chickens, but up to 8 to 10. We've had up to 8 or 10, I guess. But I honestly grew up scared to death of all birds, and I'm still afraid of all birds. But my chickens are special, and I just love, love, love them. I could just sit. An ideal day for me would be sitting on my swing in my backyard and just having the chickens wander around and
Oh, I
cluck
love it.
and chat with me,
Aw.
and it's just, I don't, something about them is just so comforting and peaceful. And so that's good. It's also probably the hardest because losing them is just, I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
There's definitely a huge emotional investment in chickens versus beetroot. Totally.
yes, yes. But so when they know you and they come to you, and they when they see you in the kitchen window and they come running because they know that you always have treats and you throw them out the window. It just
Oh,
they
oh,
know
that's so
who I
sweet.
am, and they are, I don't know, they're just awesome. I
Yeah,
love chickens. I love chickens. And I'm gonna say that's my favorite. I love being in the garden, but I'm a fair weather gardener.
right, right.
I
And
hate
that's all
bugs.
right.
I hate bugs.
Yeah.
I hate sweating. I don't love rain. I just, and
So
I don't like
chickens it
summer.
is. Yep, that's fine. I don't like summer either. Pretty much same reasons. Wonderful. Let's move on to another one that I'm really excited to ask you. So, with all the things you're doing, dear Amy, with your podcast and your jam and your general awesomeness, what message do you want your audience to hear?
Yes. So whew, um, the original thought was to be about homesteading, and homesteading for me is so overwhelming. And so I decided to dial it back a little bit. I have this thought in my head that homesteading, you have to like have all the things and have all the skills, and everything has to be ready to go, and then you're just going to turn it on like a switch and everything's going to go perfectly. Because the thought that I have in my head anyway is that homesteading is like off grid, you don't need people, you're on your own, and that just is just so scary to me. But so I dialed it back a little bit, and we're talking about sustainability. And it also can be overwhelming if you're thinking, oh, well, I don't have chickens. I don't have enough space for chickens, or I don't have a room for a big garden. But there are so many methods, and so many people do things differently. And that's my thing. Like, I just want people to talk about what they're doing, because they might spark something in someone else. If you don't have room for a big garden, maybe you've got a step and you can plant some tomatoes in a container, a plant pot or whatever. Or
Hmm.
shoot, you can get a hay bale and plant tomatoes in there or potatoes or
Right.
whatever. Like you can plant some things just about anywhere.
Hmm.
You might not be able to have chickens, but if you have a neighbor, I have a neighbor. I buy my neighbor's chickens all the time because my chickens are old.
Mm.
So they have chickens, or if to even use like farm stands or farmers markets,
Hmm.
like
Yeah, exactly.
you're keeping it local, you're eating the
Yeah.
best, freshest food,
Hmm.
and that it is possible. I know, sometimes it's expensive, but I know, like in Maine, at least right now, there is a big movement to get food to everyone. And
Hmm.
so, like, I know at our farmers market and our farm drop, they'll take the EBT or the SNAP. Oh gosh,
Yeah, those. Yeah.
can you help me get food
I don't
stamps?
know what the term is, but I know what you mean. I'm sure our
Yeah,
audience
like
does
food
too.
stamps. So it's
There you
and
go.
they give away. Some of the farms will give away like a $50 um, voucher for
Mm.
seniors and stuff like that. Like there are so many opportunities. And then
Mm.
like I introduced you, Karen, to the worm bin guy at
Right.
the library. Like you pay
Hmm.
nothing, you walk away with
Exactly.
a worm bin with worms, and you just
Yeah.
feed them. That's
And
it.
now I've got two
Um,
bins, and I still have your sieve too, by the way. So thanks for reminding me. So
but
the overall
um,
message.
yeah, and then gardening, you can. I know our local library actually is amazing, and they have they have a lending library, so you can like sign out equipment, or I think that there's like a seed library too, so you can get some
Mm.
seeds. But people are also willing to share if you connect
Hmm.
with the
For
right people.
sure.
So a lot of it is just connecting with your neighbors and seeing what's
Yeah.
out there. And I want people to connect and learn from each other. And that's the thing. Like everyone does something different. Everyone has
Right.
different um skills. And for me,
Hmm.
even if I were to be a homesteader, I would need to be like in a homesteading commune or something, because I don't have a lot of skills. But
Right.
I can rally people and I will work
Exactly.
hard.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's
But
awesome.
I just don't
So
want it to be scary for people and like so overwhelming. And I keep saying scary, and I don't mean scary, but like, it doesn't have to be a lot. You don't have to be doing all the sustainable things. You just have to,
of
you know,
course, there's
do.
no need to be a purist. So ultimately, the message that I hear as your audience as well as your friend is it is possible. And that's a
It's
message that I think
possible.
we all need to hear more and more often because it
Yeah,
truly is possible.
it's
It doesn't have
possible
to
for
be
everyone to do
100%
something and be part of.
exactly.
Yeah,
So there.
especially right now with COVID. The food shortages and everything being backed up. Like, it makes sense to do things local.
Yeah,
If
for
it's
sure.
available, then we can do it.
And I would love to talk to you another time about keeping it local because just recently I've came across new thoughts about that and how this actually to apply to other concepts besides food and resources and whatnot. But now is not the time. I really appreciate your answer to that question. And lastly, and that's really just like just hear the question and then just answer whatever comes to mind first. So here goes. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Go.
5 years. 5 years. I would love to be hooked up with some people and do um have that like community or village commune idea started, at least, and gather a bunch of people and work together for the same purpose of taking care of each other, and I don't know, just
So
making
you
more progress toward that goal. That's
right. So you are gonna build
that's
the
my main, like, I want
So
uh
you are building the community because you're the initiator.
kind
Got
of,
it.
yeah.
That's a fabulous idea. I love it, and I hope to going to be a part of that.
Yes, oh my gosh, yes, please, please.
So there, that wasn't so hard. This is all the questions I had. I wonder if your audience might have a few more that you can, like, I don't know, get through a message or something, and then, you know, do a follow-up interview sometime.
Sure, sure. Yeah, I just
Yeah,
answered some questions.
yeah.
Yeah, and so Amy's Garden Jam, I don't think I really talked about it a lot. Because I was doing this canning, my sister got married in 2014, and when they said that they were going to get married, I was like, I need to do something super sweet and something that's kind of homey, because they were getting married at home even though they lived in Florida. And so they had friends from Florida come, which was so cool. I decided I was going to make jams, and I made, the little 4-ounce jars of jam, and I made them for everybody. So, and they were all different flavors, and people really loved that, and they were just like, you've got to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was in a car accident a few years ago, and while I was out of work, I was like, this may be the time to just set everything up. And so I had the time to wait on the phone and do some research, and so I got the paperwork all ready, and I was ready to go back to work in March. And so I went back to work in March, and then I was able to start walking with shoes in May, and that's when I started making jam. So that was May of 2020, just as the pandemic was starting. And so it's basically been an online business, although I do local delivery, and my jams are for sale at a few farm stores because I'm a big fan of the farmers.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, Amy, quick question about that. Do you actually advertise your jam as like a party favor?
I don't. I don't. Not yet, anyway. That's a complicated question because just state regulations. The jars, I would have to change the jar size to do favors. And that I would have to send every flavor to the state, which takes about a month and a half for the process. And so that would be for every single flavor, and it's also very expensive.
Right. Okay.
So maybe someday.
Yeah, such a cute idea, I mean, how all those old barns are so favorable by people that want to get married like that,
Yes.
That's like a huge thing. I think your jam would be a real perfect, add-on to any wedding at a barn.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's not out of the question. All right, very well. So, Karin, thank you so much for playing today. I appreciate you giving me a sounding board. Just so that I can say a little bit, because that 4-minute episode was it was hard. But anyway, I hope that this helps you guys just kind of get a good feeling for what this is about and what I'm about. I want people to get. I want to touch people and have you also feel that excitement for sustainability and say, oh my gosh, that's not hard. Like, I can totally do that. Or that's not for me, whatever. Like, I just want to make sure that there are options available. And if people are inspired to do something, that's all I'm looking for.
Yeah. Same here, girl. Same here. Just, like you said, your message to everybody, it is possible. That really sums it all up,
It's all possible. And we need to be doing something, because things are fading quickly. Yeah.
And here we are doing things. Woohoo!
Here we are. We're doing stuff. So anyway, all right. Well, and I'll talk to you guys next week. And please be in touch with me if you have any questions, if you need me to talk about anything specific, and if you have any suggestions, like if you have any awesome tips, because I am all ears for tips. And Karin, thank you again for your time tonight. I appreciate that.
I've learned a few things too that I really appreciate it. So thank you again for the opportunity to be the one tickling all the answers out of you.
Awesome. All right. Well, we'll do it again.
Oh, I hope so.
Very good. All right. I want to just take a quick second and thank my guest again. I also need to thank Buzzsprout for hosting the podcast, and Jane Bolduck for her amazing music.
There'll come a day, my mama told me, love and hold me. A heart that's strong and so sincere. Just tell me, how do I get there from here? Oh, tell me, how do I get there from here? 'Cause here and now I'm so far down that mercy's bound to find me. We'll find a way to soothe the sickness. We'll heal the hate with sweet forgiveness. Wages of war will disappear. Just tell me, how do I get there from here? I wonder, how do I get there from here? Yeah, 'cause here and now I'm so far down that mercy's bound to find me. When that state of grace has finally found me, well, there'll be music, ooh, and good friends around me, yeah, yeah. And I'll just smile through happy tears and wonder, how did I get there from here? I wonder